Chris with the RailYard, and they are our caterer for the Chamber's annual awards banquet. We're so excited. They have a great menu of appetizers ready to go Friday night. This year, we're shaking things up. We are not at Energy Hall. We're going to be at the Heritage Center, and we're going to have, what, about 15 different hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah, I think 15 or 18. We've got there's a lot. We're doing probably a little more aggressive than we should have been.
Welcome back to Chat with the Chamber, the official podcast of the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce. This episode is brought to you by our generous sponsor, Coffee Beanery. So Chris, today I wanted to go over some of the menu items that are going to happen for the annual awards banquet, but I wanted to get to know you and the RailYard and your staff and kind of what sets you apart, and what do you love about Gillette and what do you love about the restaurant business?
Wow, it's a very big topic. So let's talk about the event
Okay.
First. Okay. We can talk about food. So super exciting the way you guys are doing it this year, right? Without a sit-down dinner, it's just this great cocktail party. I love the idea of the theme, right, with the nostalgic TV. We had a blast with it, and so funny story, when we did our bid for the catering on it, I didn't even read the whole thing, knocked out a whole bid, and then went back and said, I'll just read through the bid now, or the directions, make sure I didn't miss anything that Tracy wanted. And read it and went, oh, look at me, I put a whole bid together that doesn't count for anything. It's great. So went back through it and, really got more engagement from my kids on it than I thought I would have gotten, because I asked for their thoughts and ideas, and they started Googling nostalgic TV, and I realized that half of them were the TV shows that I watched on Nick at Night with my parents, and half of them were the TV shows that I watched as I was growing up, that my kids kept sending me. And so it was a nice subtle reminder that I am nostalgic at this point. I'm old. But so we started having fun with it, right? We started playing with different, how could we adapt things, right? MASH to me was the first thing that came to mind. And, if you get the collector's edition with all the DVDs for MASH, there's, it's martini, medicine and martinis, or martinis and medicine. I don't remember how it is, but so the bar will be MASH themed, and we're going to have shrimp cocktail, a couple different kinds of shrimp cocktail. We're going to do in little martini cups, just having fun, right? And then Mr. Ed's grazing table. That one was easy, right? So we'll set out a grazing table, and it'll be kind of barn themed and fun. We're doing a Gilligan's Island setup where the seafood appetizers will be. Just really got involved in it, had fun. We're doing a gratin potato bite that, what is it, Donna Reed? Donna Reed, yes. So we kind of went that direction with the Donna Reed gratin bites, and then we've got my three sons. We're going to do 3 different styles of meatballs. So my 3 meatballs. But just, again, had a great time putting it together and having fun with it, and really looking forward to see how it translates to the event itself. As people are just free to walk around and have a good time and talk, and I think it'll be great. I'm looking forward to this year.
Is this my 3 meatballs right here?
So this is one of the 3. So this is the spicy meatball.
Okay.
This is actually something that we serve on our happy hour, and it's kind of where we started with it. So for the event, this will be one of the 3. We'll do another that's a spicy barbecue, and then the third will be kind of a more traditional Swedish meatball. So you'll have 3 different types that you can choose from. But it's, they came out great. We did the tasting. The Swedish meatball was actually everybody's favorite. It was one that I haven't made Swedish meatballs in years, so it was fun to me to see that, again, those classic dishes are the ones that people kind of gravitate to.
Swedish meatball is one of my favorite foods ever. In fact, in my house, it's what I call a gluttony meal, because I'm gonna way overeat when I make Swedish meatballs.
That's fair. Yeah, that's.
So do you want to dig into this and kind of walk me through the elements of creating a meatball that looks this pretty? Because I don't make them pretty.
I'll walk you through how the meatball is and how it comes to be. But it's, we use ground beef, we use Italian sausage. There's onions and all the good stuff in there. The sauce is house made. It's our arrabbiata sauce. And It's something that we've been making for years. We serve with raviolis. You grab a fork.
Yeah. This is Tracy's signature. Tracy's just going to be a mess wherever she goes.
Nothing wrong with that. But so the sauce has some heat to it, right? The meatball itself isn't spicy. The beauty of the meatball, right, is that you make one meatball and then you make 3 or 4 different sauces. And every dish is completely different, but it's the same meatball.
How come I've never thought of that in real life?
That's, one of the joys of making this many meatballs is that you get a chance to we play with a lot of different ways, right? So
what is the heat on the end?
It's the sauce. And all it is in 2 gallons of sauce, you're talking about 2 tablespoons of crushed red pepper, and that's all the heat.
It's just red pepper?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the sauce itself is it's oil, yellow onions, garlic, salt, black pepper, oregano, and tomatoes. But we put a
there's a
little bit
smokiness and a sweetness to it.
Yeah, there's just all those flavors that come out in that process, right? So as you're sweating down those onions, the heat, the level of heat is how long we leave the red peppers in before we add the tomatoes. So when we throw in the red peppers, we're very conscious of how long we've got them in there. If you let them go a little too long, the sauce will look exactly the same, but will light you on fire. And we've done it a few times. When we first started making the sauce, I didn't realize just how big of an impact it was making. And I had a lady who reached out to me and said, hey, you need to warn people this sauce is so hot. And I eat it every day, so it wasn't registering with me. And we went back and we looked at what we were doing, and you leave those red peppers in there without putting the tomatoes in 30 seconds too long, and the sauce is just nuclear hot. Tastes great, but it just gets you on the end.
Here's the thing, I'm not a big spicy fan, but that's not overwhelming, and I'm actually really, really enjoying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the meatball calms the sauce down a little bit, because the meatball itself it's not trying to be spicy.
At the tasting, I think, because you said spicy, I didn't even taste it. That's really nice.
Yeah. It definitely works. But again, take the same meatball, and we roll it in a gochujang barbecue sauce, and bake it, and let that barbecue sauce glaze up, and then cover it, let it go a little longer so that you've got nice juice into the sauce. And it's completely different. It brings out different flavors from the meatball itself. Mm-hmm. And then again, same meatball with a Swedish meatball sauce. And it's a great item because it will adapt to whatever you put on it. And it works. It just brings out different flavors and different, a completely different feeling, I guess, as you're eating it.
Visit Coffee Beanery today and enjoy cozy atmosphere and friendly service. Located right here in Campbell County, it's the community's favorite spot for quality coffee and tasty meals.
Our monthly wine dinner last night, and it's always one of my favorite parts of the wine dinner is watching people who forget to take a picture of their food because they really wanted to until they're halfway through it. And you can just watch the room and you'll see people it's almost like a jump scare, and they realize, I didn't take a picture. And they try to put the plate back together, but they've eaten half of it, so they're just trying to tighten up this side so they can take a great picture of it. So we always have a good time with that because we're doing the same thing in the back as we're putting it together. Every cook who's involved in it is wanting to get pictures for their little portfolios, and and the chef and I just want to eat it. By the time we're done, I don't want to take pictures, I want to eat the food. So let's get the food out to the guests so that we can have our plate, but then you can watch the guest. And my wife was sending pictures. She was at the dinner last night. She was sending pictures to our family chat. And the second course, she did it. The second course, she was, I could tell from the picture that, she forgot. Because it looked good. She jumped right in and then went, oh, wait, I need a picture. So
that's right.
We got great pictures from every course except the second one for our little family chat album that we do. So the other appetizer that we have out here is our Bang Bang Shrimp. Mm-hmm. So Bang Bang Shrimp is the best-selling appetizer at the RailYard, has been for 3 years. So lightly breaded, butterfly shrimp. We fry them just long enough to cook them. We're not shooting to make them crispy. We just want them to fry up and be cooked. We serve them over our dragon slaw. And then we make the sauce here in-house. Bang Bang sauce is something that it's been around for 20, 25 years now. in different ways in different places by different companies, and we make ours from scratch, and a little bit of honey gives it that glaze look and texture, and the heat from the shrimp kind of brings that out in the sauce. Top it up with some crispy wonton strips, and so you get the cold dragon slaw on the bottom with that sesame ginger flavor, and you've got the hot shrimp, and you've got the sauce. It should just be tacky enough when you're eating it, and then that crunch from the wonton. So it just has a lot of textures and flavor components to it, and it's fun to eat. But it has been hands down our most popular appetizer.
It is my favorite.
Would you like one?
Yes, of course I do.
And we're working on doing this for the event Friday. And my fear is that I don't like it to be cold.
I could eat this cold.
Bang Bang tacos are my go-to when I'm having dinner.
Mm-hmm.
They're easy to eat. I don't feel overfilled when I'm done.
That's a nice feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That I think you have to get into your 40s before you're like comfortable with it.
It was about 45 for me. I got to 45 and realized, it's a lot more fun when I eat and I'm not stuffed.
Mm-hmm. I'm eating the whole thing.
Eat all you want. We'll make more. That's what we do. And then here in the front, we've got one of our martini flights.
Mm-hmm.
So a big part of our bar for the event Friday night, we've got a couple of specialty cocktails that we're going to be doing. And again, with the martinis and medicine mash theme, they're martinis that we're doing specialty drinks. This one, we've got a Brits Dirty Martini, we've got our Blood Orange, Cosmopolitan, and then our Espresso Martini on this flight. But we've upgraded our liquor menu and our offering so that you can come in. I think we're up to 12 or 13 martinis and cosmopolitans that you can select from. So you build your own flight, and it gives you a chance to try different drinks, and it's just fun.
So that's when you come in to your restaurant that will build you a flight.
Yep. Yeah, and so we're going to be serving martinis about this size Friday night for the event, and this is really kind of what gave us the idea to use the martini as a featured drink. A lot of times we do these catered events, we'll make a batch-sized drink, but we don't really think along the terms of martinis. But with the way that you guys are doing the event this year, and that feeling, that sort of cocktail party atmosphere versus dinner, we thought it'd be great. So we're going to be, we've ordered little plastic martini cups that hopefully arrive. I'm getting a little bit nervous now, right? But hopefully they arrive. If not, the martini will taste just as good in a different cup. But that's going to be kind of the signature cocktail for the event, right? Just again, dressing it up and having more fun with it, with the red carpet and everything else. I mean, how do you not get excited about having a martini? I came on the red carpet, and now I'm just mingling with everybody. So we're going to have a good time with it this week.
Well, I love how much enthusiasm and thought you always put into my events, and you're such a good partner and a person that works so well with the Chamber. Tell me a little bit about your staff and some of the things that you guys do within the community.
Well, so, for us, I like to tell people all the time, nobody ever goes in the rail yard so they can see Chris, right? Nobody does. And it's completely good for me, right? My favorite part of a restaurant is making sure all the nuts and bolts and all the pieces work the right way. And, I spent 30 years running restaurants for other people and recognizing that if I just hire great people, give them the tools that they need, make sure all the things work that they need to have work, and that they can have confidence and faith that the food's going to come out the way it's supposed to, the drinks are going to come out the way. We make mistakes every day, right? But if they can be confident that it's going to be the way it's supposed to be, they don't need me, right? They just turn them loose and let them do what they do. And this staff, excuse me, this staff embodies that so well. Right now we've got, County 17 is doing their best of. And we were nominated for several things, which, of course I'm ecstatic about, right? Really proud of the team and what they've accomplished and what they're doing. But Leslie was nominated as Best Server Bartender. And so every morning, since the voting started, I've sent a message out to our staff at all of our restaurants with the link and just reminding them, hey, Leslie's up for this. And obviously I hope they vote for us too, right? But most important, the coolest thing that could happen is if Leslie won that for us. I mean, it'd just give us something else to celebrate, right? Something else to be excited for. And I think that piece, that the fact that the whole staff here is excited for, the whole staff is pulling for, there's not this, there's not this I should have got it, not her silliness. We just, it's a group of people that have come together really well, and they're doing a great job, right? So when you come into the RailYard, you get that, right? You're in an environment where they're actually having fun. They're doing what they're really good at doing, and they're doing it in a way where I'm not, I tell every server, I hired you because of your personality. I'll teach you the menu, I'll teach you the food, I'll make sure you have everything you need. Be you, right? Go to the table, be who you are. Because that's what people come in for. I think the lost art in restaurants, right, is that we go in for interaction with people and food, right? We're not there because, the owner's going to walk by and talk to me at the table, right? Some people enjoy that, and I'm happy to go by and talk to them. I enjoy those conversations. But that's not why I go out to eat. I didn't go out to eat hoping the manager would come talk to me or hoping that the owner is there. I went out to eat because we're celebrating something. There's a significant milestone in our life. We're just getting away for a few minutes, and I want to go somewhere where I genuinely feel appreciated for being there, that they recognize that food's expensive today. We, from a pricing standpoint, we work hard to try and mitigate that, but at the end of the day, food's a lot more expensive today than it was 20 years ago. And so, I talk about it with my kids in terms of how many hours of your life did you sacrifice at work to make enough money to buy whatever we're buying, right? And so if you come in to eat dinner and I want a martini flight and it's $15, well, that may be an hour and a half of someone's life that they're trading at work to be able to afford. And so it needs to feel like we appreciate that sacrifice, that, that's the trade-off. So that's at the core of who we are. That's it, right? It's remembering that we're here having fun. We're doing what we love to do, making food and serving drinks and just serving people. But people are trading life to make enough money to come in and enjoy what we're doing. And and I think that if you genuinely appreciate that and you genuinely care about that part of it, it comes through, right, in everything that we do. And so when we make a mistake and we can be honest and look at it like, yeah, we messed that up. That was terrible. Let us fix it. People are understanding, they are forgiving. And then the staff is so much more comfortable going to your table and like, yeah, I messed that up, I'm sorry. Because it's not like the world's going to end. They made a mistake and they're being honest. Hey, we messed that up. We're going to fix it. And they don't have to come find me so that I can fix it. They just fix it right there. And there's that, again, that level of trust, right? And so I think that's what translates to the experience that you have when you're here. And we love being a part of Gillette. Like, it's my family and I moved to Gillette originally in 2013, I think. What we found great about Gillette, and we had moved quite a bit, was how welcoming the community was, right? Gillette's a community that's used to people moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out. And so they welcome you. They greet you with open arms. You're not the outsider.
Coffee Beanery has got you covered with a wide range of options to choose from. It's the perfect spot to start your day or take a midday break.
But again, it's one of those things that it doesn't take much from us, right? And hopefully, as a society, we continue to learn more about those pieces, right? And it's the stigmas that we faced as kids or that we heard about as kids and young adults, go away. There's plenty of stigmas that those will always be, right? But when it comes to somebody on the spectrum, right, or somebody with a developmental challenge or disability or however you see it, it just takes a little bit of learning, right? A little bit of learning, do something a little different, right? Change our body language as we're talking to them and recognize those pieces of it. And, I had someone a long time ago in regard to a food allergy. They were talking and they had a child who couldn't have dairy, couldn't have gluten. It was a big deal. And they talked about their kiddo was 16 and wanting to go out to pizza restaurants with their friends. And I made a very uninformed and insensitive comment like, you can't eat it, why are you there? And that mom looked at me and said, because he's 16 and he wants to be with his friends and do what 16-year-olds do. And I felt about this big, right? Because to me, I was just, I'm thinking in terms of, as a dad, right? That's not safe, don't do that. Never thought about it from the perspective of being 16 and just want to go with your friends and have a piece of pizza. So I spent the next 2 weeks getting everything I needed to do to make a gluten-free, dairy-free pizza. And I brought it back. And as my way of saying, I'm sorry, I figured it out. They can come and eat pizza with their friends here now. I will have this all the time. And that got me started thinking about, well, what other things can we do, right? There are times where, I can't do anything. I can't fix it, I'm sorry. I had someone with so many allergies that I just looked at and said, I can't feed you. I don't know what's safe. That will take me 2 weeks of learning to understand. But the majority of the time, it's a simple swap in a dish, changing something up. We've got guests who come in every month for our wine dinner who have allergies. And every month, right before the dinner starts, I look at the chef and go, egg allergy. We got to make sure that, and we run through it in our heads real quick and go, okay, we're good. We got it. We're going to make this different and this different for that one guest out of a group of 50 because we love that they come every month. And it's not that hard. Sometimes I go to them like, hey, tonight we're having meatballs because I don't know what else to make you. And they're wonderful about it. And I think in terms of being part of the community, that's a big part, right? It's just being willing to say, how can we help you? How can we do something a little different that, in the grand scheme, it doesn't mess anything up for us, right? It's just taking a second and talking. It's that human connection. And so those are kind of drivers for us. But that's where the Autism Alliance piece came from. And we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still making mistakes with it, right? But I would much rather be known for making really honest mistakes in the pursuit of doing something right than making the mistake of not trying to do something, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. I know we're getting ready for a lunch crowd, so I want to give you back your day. But before I let you go, Chris, speaking of your wine dinners, that's something kind of new, and I wanted to give you a chance to talk about it. Now, you're not doing one in November.
No.
But December 15th, you got a big one coming up. What does this look like?
So every month what we do is we do 5 courses, and we pair it with wine. But you can also get beer. We've got people who don't drink wine who come in, we pair it with beer, or we pair it with a cocktail. The idea is it's about the community fellowship part of it, right? Where we're all sitting in a room together, we're having dinner, we're interacting, we're laughing, we're trying something new, something different. Last night's dinner, as an example, the theme was grapes and gourds, right? It's fall, it's squash season, and we found a great farm here in town and sourced all of our squash through them. We had, I think, 4 or 5 different varietals of squash that we used, and each course, it's almost tapas style, right? It's a smaller portion, a ton of food by the end of it, right? And you have a good time. We aren't going to do one in November. I think last night was our best dinner yet this year, and I think December will be we'll top it. We're not going to do November because what we've found in our life as a family is coming into Thanksgiving, you start getting that holiday almost anxiety. Like, here we go, we all know it's going to be crazy for the next 5 weeks, and it's hard to kick back, relax, and eat a big meal and enjoy it the way you want to. And for us in restaurants, the week before Thanksgiving is kind of the time that if you're going to take a little time off, you take it then, because we're just from November, from the end of November through the first of the year, that's Christmas party season, and that's, people are going out and having a good time, and we work a lot at that time. So we aren't going to do November, and then in December on the 15th, we're going to do an Italian-style family, it'll be a family-style dinner, right? So big platters of food that we're going to kind of pass and share and serve off of. We'll sit everyone together at larger tables versus the individual tables. So most of our dinners, if you've got a party of 3, you have a table for 3 people. In this dinner, we're going to make larger tables, and we're going to put groups together. And the idea is that by the end of the dinner, what we find is you got 15 people at a table all interacting and having conversation and sharing stories and having a good time. At the beginning of the dinner, it's not quite so confident and comfortable, right? We're sitting here and you're sitting there and they're sitting there, but by the end of it, we're all, just enjoying each other's company. So December will be Italian style. We're looking at some lasagnas. There'll be spaghetti and meatballs. It's the one caveat, owning a restaurant, not a lot of perks, right? But, I let the chef know that spaghetti and meatballs will be a thing, because that's my favorite food. And I told him I'm happy to do it if he doesn't want to. I'll make that course. But, Troy does an amazing job. So it gives us a chance. Our guys get to make food that they don't make on a normal basis, new cooking techniques. They get to learn about food. Last night we did a sweet potato in duck fat. So you had this great caramelized exterior on the sweet potato with a fillet, and then we did a little huckleberry sauce for it. And that's not a cooking technique that we necessarily use every day in the restaurant, but we've got guys who are working to develop themselves, right, for opportunities to grow and to move up and do things. So each month they get to learn something new, learn something different, work with a food that we don't normally work with. Working with 4 or 5 different types of squash last night. We don't do a lot of squash, right? I know you love squash, so we played with some last year and we had fun with it. So this year we did a whole dinner devoted to it. But it's an opportunity for our team to develop, right? And then from a front of house standpoint, they're learning about wine. They're learning a different style of service because we team serve wine dinners. So it's just this constant movement and motion for the service staff. And everybody comes out of it having learned something. They get to have fun. They eat a great meal together at the end of it. And we've got guests that are here every single month. We've got, a mom and a daughter and son who come every month, and, his work schedule, he can't always be here for them, but mom and daughter are always here. We've got another 2 sets of couples that come every single month, and my wife actually sat and had dinner with them for the first wine dinner because I was busy, obviously working the wine dinner, but she sat with them, and so every month we get to kind of catch up with each other. Just these great regular guests who come in, and every month we have a few new people who come through and try. And the goal and the hope is that it becomes something that we've got 75, 80 people, coming into dinner and building some fun new relationships with people over food, over drinks. I mean, that's the word restaurant comes from restore, right? So you come in and you leave with this. We had this great experience. It's a great date night, and we had another group who brought their teenage daughters in for one a few months back. Obviously, they weren't having wine, but they were trying food that they'd never tried before, and so we had a good time with that. So that's what the wine dinners are. It's really, truthfully, just a way for us to try some new food, do some new things, give them a chance to practice things they don't get to do every day, but give our guests a chance to try food that. I don't know anyone who's making a squash-filled ravioli on a regular basis here with a beet puree. So, and it's a beautiful plate, and everybody. Beet. When you say beet in food, you get a very quick reaction from everyone. They love it or they hate it. There's no one who's ever been like, no, they're okay. But you put it into a dish where it's just this beautiful purple puree, and you have these raviolis and. This bright orange filling, and it's so much color. And by the end of it, the majority of people have eaten all of it, right? And I watched a few who were trying to separate the ravioli from the beets last night and kind of scraping it off, and then others who just jumped right in, and then one of the servers at the end, we were all having dinner together. He looked at us, hey, are my teeth purple? And her whole face just purple from the beets, and it was just again, that's what wine dinners are. They're just fun. It's just that's what dinner should be, right? It should be an event. It should be fun. It should be something that you remember, and whether it's an event like you guys are having Friday, where it's cocktails and appetizers, and we're all walking around and talking and interacting. It's a sit-down meal. I'm taking my kids out because they got a good grade. There's so many memories made over food and over drinks, and to me, that's what restaurants are about, right? It's about going out and having something that, can I make this at home? Yes, right? I could make myself dinner at home, but there is a difference in the way that you feel when you go out to eat somewhere, right? It's a memory that you've made. My kids talk about different restaurant experiences that I don't remember us having, but that stood out to them, they held on to, and And once a year, I take one of my kids and we travel somewhere in the country, usually a bigger city that's a little more food forward. And we can see what are other people doing. What's the industry doing out there, right? So this year I took my 16-year-old daughter. We went to New York, and we bought her tickets to see Hamilton for her birthday, right? Big deal for her. I didn't realize that Hamilton was just 34 songs that I was going to have to sit through in this cramped little theater, right? But it was, again, one of those dad moments where she's having the absolute time of her life. I can't feel my feet because I'm so cramped up into this thing. And, I got a cocktail from the bar, and they gave it to me in a sippy cup. And I stood there holding it out like, it's in a sippy cup. You charged me $20 for Manhattan. It's in a sippy cup. And the guy was like, well, yeah, that way you don't spill. Well, I'm an adult, and so I can take this lid off. See how that worked? I can take it off, and I can have my drink. I don't really understand the piece of it, right? But it was, like, my daughter thought it was the coolest thing ever that I had a sippy cup for my Manhattan. And so, sitting through the show trying to drink this drink, I just finally just stuck it underneath my chair. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this drink. It just feels awkward drinking it through a sippy cup. But we had a blast. And during that time, I got to visit 12 restaurants that I wanted to go see. I'm not sitting down eating 12 meals in 2 days. Since we fly in on Monday, we fly out on Wednesday morning. It's quick. But it's restaurant to restaurant to restaurant for several hours, one day out of that trip. And I tried 9 different restaurants' meatballs because we want the meatball on our menu to be great. So we went to New York, we went down to Little Italy, we went to 9 places, and I had meatballs. And 4 or 5 of them were wonderful. 2 or 3 of them were okay, and a couple were forgettable. And but it was, it was great. Right? That's what you do when you're passionate. You guys go to events all over the country with different chambers where you are seeing what people are doing and you're learning, right? You're bringing it back to Gillette. And the restaurant people here in town are doing the same thing. We're going and finding places that are doing food that we want to do or that we want to bring back. And so I'm always super jazzed up after those trips, right? Because I get to go and see things that people are doing. I'm like, oh, this brilliant idea that I stole from this guy.